Here, on line 3 and elsewhere in the PDF, we see that the author has just used 2 vertical bars to signify the norm. We, and most authors, prefer to keep such pairs of bars a little tighter together to make it easier to distinguish them from absolute values and to avoid confusion in set notation, etc. Further, we like to use a macro for neatness, and which can then take an optional argument to adjust the size of the bars where necessary. Now, since there are quite a few instances in this paper, rather than making all of the replacements manually, as it were, I'm going to use a regular expression to perform the substitution. The regular expression syntax here looks for any 2 pairs of bars, grabs their contents, non-greedily and across lines, and replaces the whole lot with a norm macro containing these grabbed contents as its argument. We confirm each instance as we go for illustrative purposes and to check that there's nothing weird going on. Note here that the search works even though there's blank spaces between a pair of bars or across lines. These norms, such as in the display on line 12 or on line 20, which contain a sum, obviously need to be bigger, which we achieve by adding an optional argument. In practice, we'd catch these on a read-through or have fixed them individually as we were iterating through the replacements, but just for fun here, I'm going to use regular expressions to add an optional big argument to every norm followed by a sum. Now, we must be careful here. Note that Vim searches greedily by default. So this regular expression is saying that on this line there's a sum between a norm and a closing brace, but it's looking at the incorrect closing brace. And so it's looking at far too much. There are a number of ways to avoid this. Here, I'm going to specify that a sum must appear before any closed brace, which ensures we only look at sums which are actually contained within the argument of the norm. Here, we're on line 9, and the sum is inline. Just iterate through these. Here we're in the display on line 13, so we'll need a slightly bigger big. And here we are in line 20. And there are no more sums contained within norms. So now we have all our norms appropriately sized.